All right. So this is a subject that I did in the young kids class last week because they asked for it. And then I realized that we hardly ever do any comic artists. Of course, Susan has done some just before I came, but that extending that a little further to accommodate more types of art as art, not just the classic artists. And I don't think, have ever done the superhero concept. I think I'll end up doing these only in the kids' class. We'll do like a Lego, or we will make some unicorn character or something like that, which is very pertinent to kids' TV programs or movies, or like Elsa or Frozen theme. But they're also illustrations, so even that becomes an interesting topic to take up. And I think primarily because, at least in the West, there has been so much of there's so much culture surrounding comics. You have your regular comic books, you have comic strips that used to be syndicated in newspapers. In fact, for a long time, I believe they used to have a separate segment called the funnies or the funny pages. And when the newspaper came home, the idea was that everybody splits up the papers. The father takes something, the mother takes something, the kids take something. And the funny pages was something for kids on weekends. This is what I have heard anecdotally. We used to have things like Illustrated Weekly. We also had the last page of the Times of India on Sundays, Saturdays and Sundays used to have these comics, and a huge number of them. I don't know why they've stopped now. So, comics become one way of storytelling. They are kind of a graphic art which reduces the I guess, the intensity of the illustration to a few lines that can tell you a story. So they are somewhere between a painting and a movie, and borrowing a little bit from books. So you have a narrative, you have characters, and everything that a book has, but you tell that story in pictures. And also the pictures can be of a wide variety of styles. So very often you will find that in comics you will have a style of writing, a style of illustration that becomes very distinctive of the artist. Now the whole point of doing these different artists in our class is not just to copy it out. There is a purpose behind the study as well. So in the case of comics, it's good to understand how you could have a comic book that was written by somebody, illustrated by not just one person. There could be up to 10 artists who are making different stories of the same comics. So, how do they manage doing it? How do they create the same character? They are not telling the same, it's not like copying the same picture. So, what they do is have a style guide. And a style guide, which also they now have in animated movies, will have a whole selection of faces, of expressions, of how to make eyes, how to make hand gestures. And this style guide is created for any artist who is going to sit and make this. So, this is an interesting way of, I guess, mass producing. And it's good to know now, but I mean, now there's so much of everything is on the computer, hardly anything by hand. But let's imagine if you would want to make this by hand, there is a process that is available. And it's good to study it and keep in mind. And the same thing can be done for, you can make tiny magazines, zines that you can create style guides for. And not just you, maybe your friends, your family, all of them can start illustrating their own stories through this one character. So usually when you are making cartoon characters, there is you build in a certain matrix, and everybody tries to follow the same. So this was first, at least I had observed this first in the Walt Disney characters. They had come up with the original Mickey Mouse design was very intuitive, but eventually when they had to make this into a conglomerate, you had to put Mickey and Minnie on practically every surface that you could think of. They had to then bring in a lot of artists. They, in fact, have an institute of art, Disney. So there they will teach you how to create Mickey and Minnie, literally like how we do in class. You have a circle, then you have two angles at which, if the characters are looking straight, you have the ears over here. If they're looking sideways, you have one here and one here. So all of that is something that you can create for your characters. So the faces remain the same, but they have to be simplified. And the illustrations today, you will see one way of simplifying is just don't put a face on them. Just put a mask. So you have to, like in the case of Iron Man, you just have a mask. No expressions, nothing. Wherever you go, you just see that mask. Of course, when he removes the mask, you have a person's face, and that face must look consistent throughout. Now that we have made enough faces, you realize how difficult it is to maintain that consistency of the face. So, if you notice in the Archie comics, if you remove the hair and the freckles and something peculiar like the hat in the case of Jughead, everybody's features are exactly the same. The girls have a particular upside down U with a little bit of a curve on the side to indicate that they have lashes, but the boys don't have that. That's it. Everybody's faces look pretty much the same. And then the change only is the hair or the hat, or maybe in the case of Archie, the freckles. So, what I'd like you to do is just observe how you have one character, and how, if you want to, just take 5 different pictures of the same character and see how a mini style guide can be created out of that. You can use Garfield, Calvin and Hobbes, or even one of these old Mandrake like cartoons. They were very beautifully illustrated. Then you have Tintin, Asterix. So, all of them, just take one character and maybe just pull out 5 different poses of that character and see how that similarity is recreated. Now, coming back to what we have to do today. So, I wanted to do Iron Man because here we have the opportunity to put 3 things together. One is creating a face but not a face. So this is a mask, but then also the mask is made out of a particular material. We have studied materials before. So how to apply a metallic finish to a face. And in this also, how to create that the emotion that is shown in that stoic metallic face. So like that, there are 2-3 things that I wanted to experiment with. Then we have Spider-Man, where again it's the same thing. It's a mask and almost a metallic looking sheen, although this is not hard metal. We only know that because of the movies. And a little bit of that is communicated by how the fabric sits on the body of character, versus over here how you have much straighter lines to indicate that this is a shield. The face is a hard mask and the body is a shield, and this is more like a body suit which has a sheen on it. And then we have these 2 figures. Now I have noticed that in many comics, especially in superhero comics, they have these ridiculous poses because they're either flying or jumping or upside down and doing something that requires their body to be in such contorted positions that we will never see regular public, if you're doing people watching, ever be standing like that. So these figures are very nice to practice figure drawing with weird postures. So let's first start off with making this Iron Man mask. And then after I show you this one, maybe before we start painting this, you could also try making the uh, Spider-Man mask, and then we can paint them simultaneously. All right, so as we normally do, I am going to create a few basic shapes around this face and use those to recreate our illustration. Now, in the case of the mask, I am going to use the curve on the top of his head as the guide to make my first shape, which I want to be a circle. And I'm going to place this in such a way that it matches the curve of the head. So when designing these masks, very often I think the designers also work with basic shapes like these from which they carve out the elegant forms that are going to make up the mask. Right, so after this, let's, let's divide this in half horizontally, vertically. I'll just reposition these lines so that they remain centered. There's a very slight tilt to the face, so you'll notice that over here, if I center it to at the chin and the eyes, it's a little off center on top, but that's very minor. Now beyond this, we can divide the space into a few more parts, starting with half on the sides, half from the bottom, half from the top. So I have essentially created a grid in a circle. The circle helps us to make the top of the head. Oops. And when dividing this line, I try to divide it from the center, not from the side, because this is the line that gives us a better idea of proportion. If I try to divide over here, I will never get it right. Now for the bottom part, I'll draw maybe a square. From one end of the mouth to the other. And I'm just going to put it up near the center to see what the proportion is. So it's just a little more than a quarter of the circle's height. So we don't need to really measure out how much more. This is brilliant. And then all the other lines you can also see will come from these cues itself. So if I were to divide my square in half horizontally, we get some idea of where to draw the mouth. And then look at these interactions also. So bottom of the square and say 1/4 of the circle vertically. That's where the face ends. And the point at which, yeah, we could draw it from here also. This can be a guideline so that we can draw the jaw coming near the pink line over here. So we create these shapes in a way to accommodate the head, and then we will start making the details. That is how you look at it. Now, even for the eyes, it's important to make a curve that is accurate. So, you don't want to make a curve that is too deep. You want to make it shallow enough. So, there are marks that you can make. Like over here, I can divide this section in half as well. So, you know that the eyes don't come above half of this square. Otherwise, you will end up making something that's this curved and things will not look right. And then right in this square also, I can make further lines to divide this up as well. So at any point, if you have a problem, all you need to do is create more and more divisions into half or 1/3. So now I know that the eyes have to come just till about here and just below this pink line. So I'm going to talk you through this whole process while we are drawing. So if you don't understand anything right now, just put a pin in it and I'll help explain everything to you again. Right, so we'll first be making those basic shapes, and to that we will add all the details. Oops, something went wrong. Ignore that first file, please. I think I've sent it as a file. Okay, so I'm going to share this image along with my image so that you can see what's happening. Are you able to see my screen as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we know that our face is going to be 1 1/4 of the face in height, right? So you can determine how and where you want that face to be. I'm going to make it on the left side. Maybe we can make the two next to each other. So if I make my circle about this big, and then I can imagine what a quarter of that circle would be, my full face is going to be about this big. So if you don't want it this big, if you want it smaller, proportionately everything starts becoming small. And when I say my circle is going to be this big, it's about the height of my finger. That's good enough. So when you're making a circle also, try to make multiple circles back and forth like that. And hold your pencil a little far away because then you can see where the pencil is going. And remember, we need only the top part of the circle. So if you don't get an absolutely perfect circle, it's totally fine. It's in fact immaterial. Then let's divide the circle in half through the center. And then divide it half horizontally. Then divide the bottom line into half as well. And then using this measurement, you can draw another line at the bottom. This is the bottom of the face. We don't know how wide yet because we still have to draw more vertical guidelines. Okay, now that we have drawn these lines already, take the horizontal mid, uh, the line that is running through the middle of the circle on the horizontal dimension, and cut that further into half in both the hemispheres. This will give you the next guidelines. Now you can bring them all the way down, and I haven't made this mark, but the chin of the mask is from about 1/4 of the way from the center. So you can drop that line down, and that will give you the square. Now it is pretty easy to determine this because I won't get into the logic of this. Maybe only Ritika might understand because there's so much of math in it. Oh, so this is 1/4 of the circle which we have taken down. And right now, what we have cut is also a 1/4 measure but divided on both sides of the center. So this is our square. So even if we hadn't cut it in half, the square would measure only so much. So you get it. If you don't get it, it's okay, not a big deal. I encourage all of you to figure out your own math when it comes to art because anywhere where you can predict a line before you even draw it is the math that you need. That's it. You don't need anything more than that. All right, now we have drawn all the yellow lines, we have drawn the blue lines. Now let's draw the pink lines. So we are going to cut the extreme quarter on the right and the left into half. This is the pink line, and also this section where the eyes are going to come, cut that into half as well. And now you will have a square at this point. So that is in the, sorry, let me make one more line here. So you have the first quarter on top. This is the forehead, this is the head part, this is the forehead part, and this is the third quarter from the top where the eyes are going to come. In this, in the extreme side, this bottom square on both sides, this one. Here is where the eyes are going to come. So you make that vertical line and you will draw a curve that goes almost from the top of this intersection here in the square in the middle to this middle, and it runs just above the midpoint there. This is the curve we get. Now make a double line there. And literally at this half mark from where we drew the square down, over there we make small lines going to the side, and then from the corner of the eyes, and you can draw first a rectangle, a very narrow rectangle. Okay, now can we get rid of this image so you can see more of mine? What happened, Ritika? You managed?
Yeah, I managed.
The relief in your face.
I literally start feeling like, that kid on Tare Zameen.
Okay, but you got it. Very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this can be a big challenge, but I mean, literally within no time, this math just works so well. You will get it. All right. Now, if you need to, you can keep looking back at the reference image, but you can just follow me from this point. So now let's divide this square at the bottom where his mouth is to into two parts horizontally as well. Now, while the eyes are the central focus of the face, the eyes connect to a lot of other parts in the helmet as well. So just above this half point, let's make two parallel horizontal lines, which don't go quite to the end of that square, just a little before, end a little before. The bottom line is slightly shorter, the top line is slightly longer, and then both of them parallelly turn downwards on either side. Now, at this point, the eyes and the mouth look so close, I'm pretty sure you feel you're doing something wrong. But that's because you're looking at the whole circle as the face. Our face is going to get cut up and become only so much. And then when everything fills up, you'll see, Are, itna sahi tha. Alright, now this is the mouth done. We already have the chin done. So now let's draw some guidelines from the sides. We will draw two short vertical lines in this section too. The mask is not really straight. It curves inward a little bit towards the top and a little outward to accommodate the ears, I presume. And then it comes to where the eyes are. And from that bottom square, we will just draw one guideline coming straight to the chin. It's just a guideline, so you just need to draw that for us to know which line goes where beyond that. Now, from the eyes, we are going to make an outline to all these shapes. There's a little dip at the center of this rectangle. They're not fully rectangular eyes. And from the corner of the eyes, we will draw two parts of the helmet. We make the top like this, which goes inside the head, almost straight, huh? So don't draw it really too straight. Up to the first line that we have drawn. And then it curves in towards the center and comes halfway through to the next square in the center itself. Then we have our yellow line, which is actually the center of the circle. Just above that, you would make a small horizontal line and join this line with slightly curved shapes to the top like so. Coming back to this, what was the blue line, you will now join the two halves with a curved line like this. Okay, everyone with me? All right, now from the.
Aditi, wait.
All right,
Uh,
okay. Those of you who figured out how to proceed, carry on. Just continue. I'll wait for Alka. As much as in the movie, this is supposed to be rocket science. Literally, drawing the mask is not rocket science.
Okay.
Great. All right. Now, from the eyes, we bring one line down, which doesn't come quite close to this pink guideline that we're supposed to make. And this line will come to the top corner of the mouth. So this is a fold in the mask. It's not, it's like an edge. You extend the line to the side and bring it to the corner of the upper lip. Then you extend that, the same line from the sides at the base of the circle here. You'll be touching the circle here. And you make a slight curve and bring that curve down closer to the end of that line like this. Now from there, almost joining that point but then moving away, you will make the shape which will become the lower part of the mouth. And this line extends down to the center of the square that we had drawn, goes inward a little bit towards the center, and then in a sense follows the bend of the lower part of the mouth and becomes almost like a lower lip. And then underneath this, a little inside from the edge of the face, we will bring a line beyond our guideline in two parts. You bring it here, bring it to the just above the corner of the mouth, and then you pull that into the chin. It's very angular. And I suppose it's meant to be intimidating. Now let's go back to the original picture. Let's compare it and then draw the details. Like for example, you have two lines on either side of our guideline. One extra groove over here. So you can start adding all these grooves, and then when you join the lines like the head, make a little bit of a depression where the grooves have been drawn, just a little bit. Match all the shapes. I think we have it. Now beyond this, if you want to draw the rest of the body or something, you can do it visually. I'm going to just attach a little bit of that breastplate and the collar. And everywhere I'm looking for lines that connect to others. Like this collar connects to the, almost looks like a line parallel to the line of the chin. And there's a groove over here as well, and here as well. That's it. Okay, everyone with me? All right, now let's erase all this. So erase all the guidelines and avoid, use just the corner of your eraser. Carefully do this operation. The moment you erase the lines on the face, suddenly you'll feel like the face is expanded. Now, just as an exercise through the week, you should do this for all the other superheroes also. And you can become the cool Marvel artist in the neighborhood. I think Neva is the youngest one in the group, no? So she might have friends who might think she is cool. For all the rest of us, we are just going to become the cool aunties who can draw Marvel superheroes. We're not just drawing flowers and plants and things like that. Okay, now before we start the next phase, I would like everyone to paint a base coat of, um, we're going to do scarlet and um, let's make gamboge. A mix of gamboge and yellow ochre. But there are 2 3 places where we are going to leave a highlight. So we have this beautiful shape on the right, which is, oh, my head is not spherical, which goes through over the groove and creates very interesting highlights on our mask. So the entire corner of this yellow part, and notice how there are also highlights along the edges. So when you're painting this part will be left white unpainted, and the edges will also be left uncolored. The dark coloring that we're going to do today, we will use color pencils so that we have ample control in creating that effect. Okay, so let's just start painting this.
Miss, is this okay?
Yeah.
It doesn't look very proportionate.
It doesn't look very good. Okay, have you erased the guidelines?
Yeah.
Okay, I wish I had seen it before. So this could be that the circle as I see it, the lower part, the square that you made at the bottom, that might have been too far away. Nonetheless, just paint this right now, Neva. And next time, if you feel it's not looking good, or just check with me or click a picture when the guidelines are still on. All
Okay.
right, because that's the only way we can verify what you have drawn where, right? And what needs to be changed. When there are lots of lines on the page, it's very easy to get confused. Sometimes the proportion is a little off. Sometimes instead of drawing something at one section, you've drawn it at another section because everything looks the same. So right now, don't worry about that. You can just paint it this way. And then when we make that Spider-Man face, it might get a little easier.
I might have to leave earlier today because I have to go for a birthday party.
Oh, okay. Never mind. You can watch the recording then afterwards. All right. Okay, so just a plain scarlet will do. I don't think that I need very bright highlights in the other parts, so just going ahead and painting this fully. Oh, I should have painted the gamboge first. If you haven't started with scarlet, please make the gamboge first. I made a big mistake here. Now, even in this case, when you're painting, in some places, if you press the brush down, you will get a much lighter color. And in some places, you can use the tip of the brush and deposit a much more concentrated shade. So in my case, over here above the eye, I'm just going to spread the existing color. So though it is the same shade, I get much lighter application. There are a few interesting highlights here also on his collar. Now, while this is drying, I will make the um, draw the geometry for the Spider-Man face also. I just hope to God they are from the same universe because there's such um, strong affiliation for one or the other, and honestly, I find it hard to keep track of which is which because it's like they're creating new superheroes every other day. But if you ask the true fans, they will be aghast if they see one superhero in the wrong franchise.
So Spider-Man and Iron Man are friends.
Yeah, they're both Marvel.
Yeah, no, yes, now I remember the movie. Yes. Isn't he like a protege or something?
He's a
Yeah.
big fan, yeah. Big
In
fan of Stark.
one version.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's Superman that sits apart. And
Huh.
That's DC. Batman, Superman, Wonder
Batman,
Woman.
Superman.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have a significant male presence in your life to know the difference.
No, not necessarily.
No.
I think the male presence in my life is most unaware. All the females are very invested.
Like, I did not know any of this till I got married. It was it's a new world entirely. Like Star Trek, Star Wars, DC, Marvel.
Really?
Oh
Oh,
God,
To
no,
work
my
on
daughter
those.
made us sit and watch all the
Star Wars, no?
Marvel movies. No, Star
Oh,
Wars, even I was there. Star Wars, my dad hooked us onto.
yeah.
ah,
Hooked
Star
onto Star
Wars
Wars
we missed. Correct.
right from day one. Because they released when we were kids, na? So that
ah,
show
ah,
was,
Yeah, I think we couldn't escape the madness. It's
it
just
was
there.
just. And
Every
my dad was very fond of science fiction, so he was just waiting on
Mm.
one leg to go and see it. So yeah, so Star Wars was thanks to my dad. But my daughter made us sit and watch all the Marvel movies because we kept asking her such idiotic questions. And she's like, now you need to get it all in order. I think I'm still equally confused, but I will not let on.
yeah. Lest you be put through
Yeah,
another
so,
series of things. Yeah, I know.
I think it's difficult to keep track when you are thinking about, do I have to buy potatoes today or do I have to buy garlic? And then in that to remember whether this guy fights with that guy or they're
yeah.
good friends. It's like,
Oh, what happened first? Did this happen first or did that happen
oh
first?
my God, that is even.
Oh my goodness.
No,
But it all,
it's a big rabbit hole because there are, since decades, there have been issues where they rewrite the canon
Yeah,
stories.
correct.
So they
oh
keep
yeah.
making new stories, they keep making new characters.
And
And
Correct.
the
prequels
thing
and
with,
pre-prequels and
yeah, so the thing with DC and Marvel that makes it different from, say, Tintin or Walt Disney is that the character design, the base colors may remain the same, but the
Mm,
design changes.
yeah.
Yes.
That's why they have
ah,
like a lot of illustrators who still illustrate by hand, and inking is done by someone else.
Yes.
And
oh,
you have a variety in that, and that makes it beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, they don't want to kill the character, right? So, have you seen how much they try
They
to
do
just.
kill, but then they come back in some other
Yeah.
multiverse.
But they
hmm.
basically want to keep it going.
They are, I think they're exploring all sorts of options. Suppose, let's try killing him. Okay. Yeah, enjoyed that. Okay, next, alternate universe. Suppose we don't kill him, then what would have happened? I
Correct.
love it. But I love these explorations because it's not, this is one medium where things don't have to remain finite. It's just any endless possibilities.
But I
And
think Lee Falk got it right when he created Phantom and he said both who cannot die. So you can have as many as them as you like, but
right,
he doesn't die. The
correct.
character is alive.
The ghost who walks.
Walks.
It
I
was
was to walk, yeah.
Goes to walk.
old jungle saying.
No jungle. Oh God, those
Jungle
comics were
thing.
such
My
fun.
goodness.
Love it. It's too good. Okay.
What is his name? Kit, no? Kit.
Kit, yeah, Kit Walker.
Kit
My
Walker.
God, I don't remember all these things.
Yeah, I have devoured these comics, Mandarin.
And Diana, no?
Yeah, Diana,
Rex, Kit and Heloise,
Rex,
his kids, twins.
yeah,
Right. We are in the
Hero and Devil.
space.
Yes.
Well, after I got married, the building where my mother stayed, there was one old Mrs. Deshmukh who lived upstairs who had bound versions of all the Mandrake and all the Phantom comics.
Now
So
that is,
every time I went to Pune, I would go running up to Deshmukh auntie and get all those comics out to read and reread and reread.
that is so cool. Okay.
My mother belonged to the generation where comics were not literature.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
so did mine.
They
Oh,
ruin,
absolutely.
they ruin your language. So you have
Correct.
to wait for the
Correct.
day paper. That was your only respite.
Hmm.
So with no active comics at home, you had to wait for the newspaper.
Hmm.
or Illustrated Weekly.
Mm-hmm. No other choice.
Mhm.
Okay, so there are a few differences in this face from the left and the right, but nonetheless, I'm just going to share this so that you can start drawing this as well.
The wash that you used for the Iron Man was Gumbo Jan.
Sorry?
The wash for the Iron Man mask
Uh-huh.
was, sorry, the helmet was what? Gumboj
Cambridge and Scarlet.
Scarlet. Okay.
Yeah. I think this was the job of many girls in animation. They never hired women as character design, but they were always just colorists. I just saw this in a documentary a while ago. It's ridiculous to think that they actually believe that women would not come up with creative ideas. It's so, it's like, what world were they living in? What kind of.
And yet, you have Bletchley Park, which is all women, because the men went to war, and
Yeah,
they were the code breakers, code keepers. They were.
Yeah,
It was amazing if you think about the opportunity women got simply because men were out of the picture.
I know, and
yeah.
I think women also didn't realize how much they could finally do when they started,
And
or they were
suddenly you
forced to
have
come
all
out.
these
Yeah,
girls.
but if you see that movie, the men just kept laughing at them all the time and they wouldn't take them seriously at all.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
it's so
So
sad.
annoying, like,
They still do that.
yeah,
They do.
So
They do.
that's why in this, amongst all the superheroes, I don't know if anyone has noticed, the only person who doesn't wear a mask, who doesn't have any of these things, and who doesn't even have any special weapons is that Black Widow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She's like, what are you guys wearing costumes and flying around and doing whatnot? All she needs is like bare muscle power, and she's able to take on anybody. I don't know where she comes from. Brilliant.
Russia.
Well, yeah,
Russia. Where
in the
else?
very
Where else?
Hmm.
brilliant character.
Yes, yes. Now what's happened is these characters have played those parts so well. Those actors have played those parts so well.
Yeah,
It's very hard to imagine them outside of that character.
correct. That's true.
No, and you can't imagine anyone like Scarlett Johansson is
Yeah,
Black Widow. You can't imagine anyone else playing that role now.
exactly. That's the whole point. So that's why the Marvel franchise is getting a little antsy. They're all getting older, right?
Yeah.
They can't eternally keep acting. So they're thinking of all sorts of options, proteges and all that.
Hence the multiverse, the answer to
Must
all their
yeah.
And
problems
CGI. CGI.
and
And
CG.
and yeah, because how else can we keep Princess Leia alive?
But the CGI
Oh
version of her
God, yeah.
looks horrible. It's
Yeah,
so
that's true.
bad.
And not very good.
I don't think they should even allow it really, because it's okay. They used to replace the actress. There would be another actress who we can believe. It is supposed to be make believe. So why bother?
Yeah, like they do in the serials, If one actor goes away, they just replace him with another actor and the character carries on.
Yeah, and they say from henceforth, just believe that this is.
Yeah, just always
I,
that.
I mean, if you can allow us to believe that these guys are really fighting demons and things like that, can we not extend our disbelief to a little bit or suspend our disbelief and allow for a new character to be your Princess Leia?
Correct.
I think they just enjoyed the challenge of introducing new technology, and
Yeah.
it's boys with toys. Honestly, I don't think.
Toys and toys at any age are the same.
Yes, absolutely.
At any age.
How's everyone doing?
Getting
Getting there? Okay, so
Hmm.
the first layer that we are making can be reasonably flat, huh? You don't have to worry about making anything more than just a flat patch of two colors. And since we are going to go over this whole thing with paint again, sorry, with color pencils, we can make all the nuances in color pencil. Okay, I am going to attempt Spider-Man. Just I have to wait. So I'm making this circle about the same size as our fellow here. And this time the face is not made up of a square at the bottom. There's a circle that is about the size of half of the original circle. So you can just mark that on the bottom, make a small circle at the bottom like this. Now, at this stage, if you feel that Iron Man is this tiny and you want to make any adjustments to the Spider Man face, just reduce this. The proportions are different. So, while the Spider Man face is 1.5 circle, the Iron Man face was 1.25. I'm just going to leave you to figure out the lines yourselves. This is the only measurement that you can't figure out. So, that much I think now. If you know, everything else is just cutting the existing spaces into half, not even thirds. So the only feature uh, in the face that we have to focus on are the eyes. And then I suppose just to compensate, we have all these lines to draw. Oh.
Uh,
Okay, so just do a simple thing. Draw a single line. Don't draw it as a double line. And you'll see how you can then recreate this almost like drawing a globe. From the top, it's fairly simple. The bottom has a few indents here and there, but you should get it. And literally count the number of cross uh, lines that we have. So all of these lines are connecting to the bottom, and treat the top and bottom separate but yet together. So look for that connection from the center going towards the chin area. It's the same number of lines, so you don't have to do anything extra. Okay, now for the pencil shading of the Iron Man mask. So here in this case, just take each section separately. I want to show you how to make the golden part in the center. So I'm using a brown colored pencil and making some of these marks, like the line that comes to the corner of his eye. And color pencils are normally treated just like regular pencils. So see, leave a little bit of the edge still visible, because when metal is folded in, as this one obviously is, it will the point at which it folds over, it will reflect light differently. And slowly build that shade. So avoid making a line to draw the shape. Build it up. Use very light pressure in the beginning. Once you have put that color on our paint, you will get an idea of whether or not this is the right shade. And if you feel the need to, you can darken, lighten, or expand the shade a little bit. So here I'm adding a little orange because I feel this could do with one more shade. And then I have a pencil that doesn't really work very well, adding more depth. So even if it's very light, I can create a very subtle shade.
Aditi, I have to leave. I'll catch up on the recording.
All right.
Chalo, bye everybody. Have a nice weekend.
And we can do the same thing with the red part as well. You can use the same brown, I think, or even a blue, or both. I think my fellow's eyes have become a little wider than they should be, which I think I can adjust. And for the mouth, we can just use a plain black. So this part I'm just painting because it's a lot simpler. And later on, because black again is not so dark, you can come back and make a darker section right below the upper mouth part, so that it looks more convincing, looks more like a cavity. So every other place also where we have things things like he has a slight goldenish shade or like a yellow ochre shade on the upper thin band of the eye, and just above the eye, it's since the eye is supposed to be glowing, we don't have any color there. And then we have almost a steel blue like color for the bottom. Even this has become much wider than it should be. So anytime you see metal, you will notice that a lot of the color is just carefully placed, and there is often a little bit of a color merging, blending to indicate a high contrast between the lightest shade and the darkest shades. And while you have a very sharp edge in many places, there is also sometimes a very smooth transition from highlight to shadow. That also looks very good. Okay. How are your Iron Men looking? Irony enough? Irony. Irony. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of paint in a few places because I just feel that I can communicate that better, but color pencil should also be suitable. So yeah, this should take a few more minutes to finish, maybe another 15 minutes or so, and we should be able to do it. I made a big mistake by using a pencil with little color and more dent making capacity over here. So I've got a very textured helmet, sadly.
This is how my island.
Oh, let me have a look.
And then I
Okay, okay, getting there. I think the red that we put now, the base coat, that could have been redder. You can still, I think, paint over it.
think I need to put more depth in shadows.
Yeah. Not as easy as it looks. It requires, I guess, the same amount of work and same, I think, principles in place.
And then how we work now from 2D to 3D. You have to bring in those shadows and effects. Otherwise, it looks like something
Correct.
else.
Cool. So I'm going to leave you with your Iron Man. You can continue Iron Man, Spider Man, and do share on the group. Then we'll see how it looks. I'm going to try to finish mine as well, but may take some time.
Yeah.
Even last week's illustration still remains. Cool. So I just want to check with you guys. Oh, let's see the eyes.
Nice.
I'm still I need to shade the red, but I'm trying to see if so rubbing more the pencil,
Hmm.
it is still giving. I mean, it's not even.
No,
So
you need to deliberately go into those little places and shade only that much
okay,
because what am I sharing? It's sometimes the paper does not grab, doesn't allow the pencil tip to come down.
huh,
So you have to take that, just go into that section and just color that much. You don't go over the large area.
okay. And these are watercolor pencils. Does that make a difference or no?
Not really, no. Watercolor pencils, in fact, are very soft, so um, they should go into all the places. But the paper we use has a texture, so it's not the pencil's fault that the texture doesn't allow the particles to go everywhere.
Okay.
All right, shall we call it a day?
Yeah, you were about to ask something.
Yes, I was about to ask. The next
Sorry.
month, the topic is supposed to be festivals, and I was going to. This was because I had made this plan in Jan, and the idea was before the festive season begins to start creating something like our gift boxes and all. But while the box design may remain the same, this time we could do some more complicated art on it. So we use similar things that we've done in the past, but more complicated art on it. I'm feeling a little doubtful about that subject, so I wanted to just check with you all. Does that sound good, or would you rather do something else since you have already done these before?
I think going toward the complex looks good because we have seen now so much of these, motifs and kind of different arts, even in France and Italy. I think, like those acacia leaves and all, maybe some complex things probably we can go with. I mean, from my perspective, on those gift boxes and all would be a good idea.
All right, so ठीक है, so I'll work with that plan. Because then in each batch, depending upon how mature the batch is, I will change the design. All right. Okay. Okay. Chalo. I'll see you next week then. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
And one more thing before I forget. We are going to do that show and tell on Sunday morning. That's the 3rd of August from 8 to 10 a.m. Okay, I'm going to be making the announcement, but we've just 2 days ago we've decided that that time both Shivani and Rena will be available. So from 8 to 10 Sunday morning. Now, Susan, I don't know whether you go to
Yeah.
church.
Yeah. So are you recording this?
I will be recording it, yes.
Then
But it would be nice to have you.
I know.
So if you can do your church online from one side and you can do it online from one side, that would be very nice.
I'll see what I can do. I'll try and arrange something. Yeah.
Yeah, see if you can do an alternate day, maybe go Saturday
Mm-hmm.
evening or something like that, then it would be really nice. We would hate to miss out on all your live questions.
Yeah. I'll try. 8 to 10.
Yes. Okay, chalo. Bye everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.